Yeah, today I'd like to talk about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asewaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, the Jagaban of Bogo, Jagaban of Nigeria, Jagaban of Africa. I've listened to a lot of opposition forces. In fact, this video I'm making was elicited by a very long conversation I had with one of the advisors to a key opposition leader. And my thoughts, what I deduced from that conversation was that these guys don't even understand who Jagaban is. And maybe that is why they keep underrating the man. And maybe that's why they lost out in the first time. They keep losing to the man. Even when he was not in government, he was very successful in prosecuting his political worlds. Now, when he decided to run, it was a clean sweep. He got it first time, and the second one is looking almost like a walkover. And I try to say, first, my father used to say, if you want to fight somebody, you need to understand the person very well. You need to do what scholars call a SWOT analysis of the person. I remember I used to have a group of friends, back in the days, I think in 2022, like 3, 4 years ago, when Jagaban decided that he was going to be president. And after examining the man for some time, and I used to tell those my friends that this is going to be the next president of Nigeria. I didn't support Jagaban. I'm not claiming that I supported him. I didn't vote for him. But I told them that the Tinubu I know is going to win. In fact, when I became very sure that Tinubu was going to win that election was when he tactically hoodwinked the, the northern oligarchy with his uh, health health show, what I call it, when he started speaking bulaba, speaking like somebody who had dementia, speaking like someone who was forgetful of himself. Sometimes he wants to walk, he will stagger, like he wants to fall. I say, wow, this is the height of the theatrics of Jagaban. In fact, the day I listened to the vice president in the NBA conference where he said that the Tinubu will be in charge of the economy, that he will be in charge of security, knowing that the president of the country is the commander in chief of the armed forces. So the entire security architecture, is directly under the president. It's one responsibility the president does not share with anyone, right? By virtue of our constitution, the 1999 constitution as amended. So when the vice president said that, I say, wow, even these guys who are so close to Jagaban don't even understand the man. So if the VP is having challenges in government, I know that, you know, part of that was what he said that they were like, okay, yes, he's falling for the tricks, right? So I told the guy yesterday that Jagaban started running for presidency in as far back as 2003, even beyond that. I had followed a bit of him to understand what happened in the West, in the Southwest, that AD lost all their governors and Tinubu was the last man standing. It showed something about the man. And since he left office, he has held Lagos very firmly under his grips. This is not. It's. I think today, if you ask me, politically speaking, Tinubu is the most successful Nigerian politician. Imagine how his class of governors, 1999 to 2027, 2007, are all milling around him, seeking favors from him. And the man is looking frail and a bit of as if you don't know what he's doing, but man, he's moving with so much speed and gusto, right? So I told them that there are attributes that Tinubu has that many of his trousers do not even come close. Let us look at his long-term strategic planning. Tinubu knew that one day he will wake up to ask for the support of all Nigerians to be president. It's not a dream that he woke up, oh, let me go and become president. It's a long-term thing. So in 2007, Tinubu wanted to go to the Senate, but he also wanted to produce one of the Nigerians that I admire so much. I love the man. The man is, I don't know, people have their faults, but Fashola is somebody that, the man just is in a class of his own, right? So Tinubu wanted Fashola to replace him as governor. He also wanted to go to the Senate. But Fashola wasn't cut out as the very popular politician. He's not like your run of the mill politician. Fashola was some sort of a technocrat politician, somebody, a boardroom guy, the quiet, organized, solid guy, lawyer, man. So amongst the political, the grassroots and all the people who Tinubu plays politics of Lagos with, so Fashola wasn't really their guy, so he wasn't really known to them. So they told Tinubu, so this fight to make Fashola governor was gonna be a tough one. And if you are going to run for Senate and Fashola, it's gonna be like a divided attention. So we need to choose one. If you want us to go with you to Abuja, we are willing. Let's all go to Abuja and know that we may likely lose Lagos. But if you want us to keep Lagos, you need to make a choice. Jagaban, as he is, went in his room. I don't know the details. Like I said, some of these stories are things I know a bit. There are people who are real operators that play the key roles. They can. So if you have those kind of information, of course, feel free to counter what I said. I don't begrudge you. I'm just like I'm a storyteller naturally, so I like to just tell stories for posterity's sake. So Jagaban woke up in the morning and took someone who was a retired prime minister, was his father, and went to Abuja, went to INEC, went to the party office, withdrew his expression of interest and pushed the man to the Senate and sat in Lagos and produced Fashola as governor and produced a senator in another person. So you see how Jagaban works. So in 2007, Atiku was a stranded politician. I'll talk about Atiku in another video. Atiku was a stranded politician. So Jagaban, like I'll use the word donated the AC. So Jagaban had turned AD metamorphosed into AC, fully and wholly owned by Tinubu. Full. So Tinubu would have been AC candidate in 2007 if he wanted to be. Nobody would have struggled that ticket with him. It was within his reach to grab the ticket. But he donated it to Atiku. Atiku, I'm sure, I'm really very sure that even Jagaban knew that Atiku was not going to win that election. They did that experiment, created noise, and Baba did his mathematics, and Yaradua won. So uh, that was it. And AC continued. They added N and it became ACN in 2011. Once again, Atiku had left them, ran back to PDP. So many people had lost faith in him, but Jagaban kept building ACN. In 2011, that ACN, which was still under his cheat. He donated the ticket yet again to another northerner. It's NSA currently, right? If Jagaban wanted to keep that ticket, he was so selfish, he would have kept the ticket, he would have still been the candidate. Whether he will win or lose, that would have been another kettle of fish. In 2015, you see his image had loomed larger than it was before. He's become more popular. He's got into more political deals with key power brokers. A lot of people have engaged with the man. He's a deep agreement keeper. He maintains friendships. He likes loyalty. And somehow he played the political arithmetics, knowing how former President Buhari has built his cult followership around himself. Megaskia, without a dime, the man can mobilize millions of votes without even campaigning. So he imagined if you put Southwest and South Northwest together, the president was going to be a goner. And they have analyzed the current president at the time, a very uh, gentleman who didn't have so much courage and so much guts. And they brought international dimension to it, created confusion everywhere, insecurity, and all kinds of things, and then started hitting the man so hard, so very hard. I remember, just an aside, I remember when Jonathan and his team got into the field in 2014, leading up to the election, and their campaign was lackluster. It didn't have gusto. I sat down. I went to National Planning Commission. I said I wanted to write something, fundamental reasons to re-elect Jonathan. I wrote a book, compiled projects the man has done. Quite a lot of projects. Across the country, there are Marjorie schools and all kinds of things. He's done some, reformatory and transformational things he's done, which was not in the conversation leading up to the election because his government became a reactionary government. They were rather responding to all the things the opposition was, hitting them with. Rather than saying what they have done and how they need to improve, they became reactionary. And that was how the opposition wanted that conversation to flow. And actually met the president, then gave him the copy of the book. He was said I should go and give it to the party. I mean, the campaign council. Yeah. So at that point, I said, "Oh, this man lost the election," because the way what I saw didn't give me a lot of confidence. So back to Jagaban. So Barry won. He wanted to be VP because Barry said, "Oh, I think for me to agree, because Buhari had cried publicly and given up on his ambition to become president, said no, unless you're going to be on the ticket." So the Sarakis and all those guys kicked against him joining the ticket, and the man took a back seat. And once again, being Jagaban, he didn't push, put forward his name. That's how Sibajo became vice president. And at that time they were calling him national leader of the party. Some Northerners say, "Who? There's nothing like that. What's leader when we have a president?" So the man kept quiet, talked, and was, according to him, he didn't ask for contract. He was just doing his thing. And when time came, he said, "Emi Loko." The whole country went agog. People were mad. How can he wake up? This country's become a personal property. So a few of my friends, I know them. If they watch this video, they will know that they will remember those comments. I said, the man, this man started. Guy, I said, guy. Everybody was. I said, wow. So you can imagine the man had played everybody in terms of in a way that everybody, a lot of politicians were indebted to this guy. The North, owed him. Without Tinubu, Buhari wouldn't be president. Without Tinubu, Atiku wouldn't have been a candidate in the first time. Without Tinubu, Ribadu wouldn't be a presidential candidate. So he got the platform. You know how many governors? I'll tell the story of how he produced multiple governors, even used as an ordinary citizen, used the judiciary to kick out PDP governors from the Southwest and even Edo State, even when PDP had the national government. So you see a man who metamorphosed from just a state power broker to a regional power broker to a national power broker, and you were just sitting idle, waiting to be crowned. Is that the kind of man that you will not be careful and strategic in fighting? So what he did in 2023 is already public knowledge, right? Because in 2023, I, having known that he was going to be president, I looked at the things. He tried to create confusion in PDP, decimated PDP. He saw a wounded Wike as a potential ally. He poached him, financed that their G5, gave them a lot of resources to cause confusion in PDP. Obi wave was moving. He put some fire under their wings. People didn't know that a lot of that Obi wave thing was some kind of enablement, subtle indirect enablement from the Emilocon group. Then he insisted, Kwankwaso, if I'll get some guys to edit. In this video, I put the picture I took with Kwankwaso when he invited me to have a conversation with him. It was after that conversation that I knew that somehow Kwankwaso was in Tinubu's calculation, either directly or indirectly, he was working for Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the time, because with Tinubu knew clearly that Kano would have been a big challenge for him. So the best thing to do was to either take Kano or make sure that Atiku didn't take Kano. So our Igbos, emotional voters, they went with Obi and all kinds of things. So INEC declared him winner of that election. Poorly, the election with very poor participation, that is 7 or 38%. I don't know the figures. He was declared winner. So that was politically very poor in a country of over 250 million people or thereabouts. So now we are going to face 2027. And these guys are still acting like they are underrating the guy. Why they are busy underrating the man? The man has poached almost practically all the governors of the PDP into APC. The Abga man in Anambra is clearly working for Tinubu. My brother, the governor of Abia, has a very good relationship with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Obviously, I don't know how his relationship with Peter is currently. I'm sure it's obvious that he doesn't want to be under the wings of Peter Obi. So, but he's a very, himself and Tinubu, they are not enemies politically. So let's just leave. I don't know, I don't want to preempt anybody. Like I said, this video is not, it's not an indictment. I'm just telling stories. So if you have better facts than I do, please share with me. So for those who want to fight Jagaban, this background that I've laid is, so you see, this is not somebody that you can just wake up and throw out of Asha Rock. The video is taking a long time, so I'm going to talk about another thing that I noticed that people are misunderstanding about Bola Ahmed Tinubu is how he's handling Rivers case and how he's responding to Donald Trump's incursion into the Nigerian politics. So that would be the second part of the story that I will tell. Thank you very much for listening.